drives me crazy. Love the way she wears that golden light.
And we're live here at KZSC. This is Artist on Art. I am your host, Nada Milkovich. We were just listening to Broke the Moon by Marty O'Reilly and Sean Karskadden. How do you say that, Margaret Niven, our guest tonight?
I don't know.
Here, you want to take a look at it? So Margaret Niven is here at KZSC.
Oh, yeah, Karskadden, I'm sure that's right.
Karskadden. Mm-hmm. And these are Tannery artists?
Yes, Marty O'Reilly and Sean Karskadden are Tannery artists. This is their CD, Broke the Moon, and we are listening to the cut titled Broke the Moon, which I chose today because we have an upcoming event on art and sensuality in our lecture series.
Which is why we're here. In fact, that is why Geoffrey Nelson is a photographer, and Margaret Niven is a painter, and you're both Tannery Artist residences.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Residence I.
Yeah, we both live in the lofts at the Tannery Arts Center.
So you're the lucky winners of...
We're the lucky campers.
The lucky campers.
And freezing cold in November to get a spot. But we braved it.
It was fun.
I have friends that did it that didn't get in.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful thing. Hopefully we can expand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Take over Costco, go across the highway,
exactly.
take over. So Margaret Niven and I met at the opening of the Santa Cruz Institute for Contemporary Arts.
Mm-hmm.
And Margaret was telling me about this lecture series that she's doing at the Tannery Arts Center. In fact, it's called
The Tannery Arts Lecture Series.
It's really well described. And she's been doing this for... almost like 9 months?
No, this is our third year.
Oh, no, but this series.
Yeah, this series, we started in September, and it's now, we're in March, so what's that? That's...
9 months.
Yeah,
or
okay.
Yeah.
6 months or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, let's see. So you have two more. Three more.
Three more.
So sorry.
Yes, we have three more.
3 more lectures, and the next one, the one coming up March 21st at 7 o'clock, that's a Thursday, as Erotic Lounge, Exploration and Sensuality, and this is Geoffrey Nelson's work.
Some of it is my work. It's mostly I'm producing it. So I'm the one that's just organizing the performers and the artists and that. So there will be some of my work, the Storyville Revisited series that I've been working on, but it's going to be a bunch of different things, whether performers or artists.
You know, calling it a lecture series is almost a little too restrictive. That each month we'll do various types of events. Sometimes it's a lecture, sometimes it's a panel discussion, and sometimes it's more of a performance. And I think what Geoffrey's doing next week is really kind of all of those things, isn't it?
Yeah, that was. I wanted to do something that was a little more interactive. We've had great lectures, and we've had some that had dance, and that was really fun. So I thought it'd be sort of fun to combine it, dance and the visual arts as well.
Mm-hmm. And we got to say, this is adult content.
Yeah,
yes,
this is adult content.
So this is for
this one event.
21 and over?
Yeah.
Yeah, or at least 18 and over.
Yeah.
And get married, legal age.
Yes.
I mean, it won't be that even R-rated, but we just wanted to make sure that, if
people are aware
what they wanted.
Yeah.
That's why I brought it up.
People are safe. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And again, that starts at 7 o'clock on Thursday, March 21st, Erotic Lounge, the Explorations in Sensuality. And there'll be performance and visual art, and the venue is the new Santa Cruz Institute of Contemporary Arts.
Yes, it is.
And we had Kirby and Ann on a few weeks ago to commemorate and promote this wonderful center that we now have. It was so much fun. There was, folks, the best fish tacos I've had in Santa Cruz.
That event was the launching party for the Muse, the new arts website of the Santa Cruz Sentinel, and that was an amazing event.
Mm-hmm. And then there was glass blowing outside, and then there was a video projection streaming what was happening inside, which was a showcase of Tannery artists. probably some other artists.
Oh, it was artists from all over Santa Cruz.
Yeah, but there was quite a few Tannery
and Marty,
artists.
Riley, and Sean Karskadden played that evening as well.
And they'll be playing.
I'm not sure. They won't. We won't have a lot of musicians. We're going to have more of dance-type stuff. So, we want to keep it sort of, not that music's not sensual, but we want to keep it more with dancers and that, in terms of that sort of...
I brought this today because you asked for me to bring music, and this is my newest acquisition and of Tannery artists, and I love their music. So
yes, and it is very sensual music, and that's why it was... that's why I'm drawing the connection. Yeah. So Margaret Niven lives and paints here in Santa Cruz. She has been doing, like you say, for 3 years now. You've been doing a lecture series. You're a teacher. Mm-hmm. You got your MFA. Let's see.
Yeah, I got it in Berkeley last century.
It was last century.
It was last century.
You look great.
Oh, thank you, Nada.
And you really enjoy looking at the landscape, finding metaphorical connections, poetic type.
Yeah, I enjoy nature very much and looking at the natural world, but I'm not really, I don't really identify as a landscape painter. Mm-hmm. So my inspiration is coming from the natural world, but I tend to look more at objects and patterns and textures and find metaphors in there for, just the complications of being human, really.
Oh, that's really interesting. So I'm thinking of like emotional responses to textures.
Yes.
And, are you then an abstract painter?
I am. I think you would definitely say it. Certainly in the last 4 years or so, that my work's become very abstract.
So you started figurative and as a student, and then went on. Or?
There was that. Certainly that existed at Berkeley, but I was actually making sculpture there. I was making a lot of big clay pieces in the ceramics studio, and was making sculpture for many years, and then after raising a child and kind of taking a break from that and living in all these tiny little places in Santa Cruz, I went 2D. I just kind of got back into making art in a much
two-dimensional,
flatter way because it's easier to store the stuff. And that's what I've been doing ever since. I've been the sculptural work was very metaphoric, and it's been interesting to find a way to make that happen in painting. It's been a different way of thinking and working, and it's really been clicking lately.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah. And you teach at the Monterey Peninsula College.
Mm-hmm. I do.
And then, of course, you're working or volunteering at the Tannery Arts Center. That's
well, I live there and I paint there, and the Tannery Arts Lecture Series is an act of love. It is a volunteer project, and there are other volunteers involved in it. Stephen Lynch, my co-founder, is very involved in the programming. Art Pitts does the sound. A local artist, Doug Ross, does the live streaming for me. And then there's many other people that do little things for us,
Was that who did the streaming at the Muse?
No, I think Kirby set that up.
Ah, yeah. Okay. I want to shout out to all those videographers out there that do that stuff that we love but aren't quite, brought out enough. Mm-hmm. If you want to see what Margaret's work looks like, you could go to Margaret Niven, MargaretNiven.com, and there you'll be able to see your paintings, images of them. How big are they?
Well, I would say in general my work is about 42 inches square, the paintings. Some of them are getting a little bit bigger. My most recent work is based on satellite photography from NASA. I'm looking at a lot of dramatic terrain and infrared photography. And working with, I think the metaphors for me there are contrast and drama. And I'm also doing some printmaking at Monterey Peninsula College in the print studio there. And those are small, and I'm working with actual photographic images in the prints.
Oh, so it's a little contrast too.
Yeah, it's kind of turned out to be a way for me to develop ideas that I'm then taking to the paintings.
So you just mentioned a metaphor, looking at these satellite images, seeing contrast. Mm-hmm. Contrast to you is a metaphor. How could you just explain that a little bit?
I think contrast is an important design element in any good work of art, in any good story, right? There's some kind of contrast. And I think that
so that leads to drama.
That leads to drama, conflict, and or even something as simple as male and female energy, and hot and cold, and quiet and loud, and kind of things that I think we I don't know, struggle with or dance with all the time.
Right. And so when you paint your paintings, you have this metaphor, let's say hot, cold in your mind. Mm-hmm. Then I'm assuming the colors that you're using and the shapes and the contrast is in that same vein. Do you find people being able to read your paintings?
Mm-hmm. Well, the hot and cold contrast ones are brand new on the wall.
Oh, so you get to hear
not
the
on the
feedback
website
now?
yet. So we'll see. Yeah, that's a really good question. I think that people certainly get something from them. People are seduced by them and love the color and the texture. And maybe they're not quite getting the metaphor, everybody, but they're getting something from them.
So they're affected.
Yes.
In some way.
Yes,
and
definitely.
And hopefully
And I think the amount of time and care that I put into them, the work that I put into them, is apparent to most people that look at them. And even on that level, they get something from them.
So, Margaret, I'm sorry, I'm hearing things. Mm-hmm. The series has two more after the first one.
Right after the Geoffrey's event.
March 21st. Then we have April 25th, Masters of Choreography. And then we have May 16th, Art and the Cosmos, which is a art science. And are they all at 7 o'clock?
They're all at 7 o'clock. They're usually on the third Thursday of every month. However, the April one's going to be on the 25th. It's going to be on the fourth Thursday because it is about choreography, and the choreographers are busy with National Dance Week the week before.
Oh, wow.
So the Master of Choreography program is celebrating National Dance Week. So it's about local choreographers and how they create work with their companies, their dance companies.
And the person that's managing this or curating it is Kat Willis?
Kat Willis of the Tannery World Dance and Cultural Center, that's right.
The Tannery World and Dance and Cultural Center. Are there shows often? Are there events at the
well, there
World
is
Dance?
something happening all the time there.
Right.
There are dance classes, yoga classes, performances, and my personal favorite is Friday Night Tango.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So it's a hopping place. There's stuff happening all the time. And if you come to the Tannery, there's glass windows along this studio, so you can see dance all the time there.
So is that also where the Mother Song?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So it's a beautiful space. Wood, is it redwood?
It's a sprung wood dance floor. Oh, the interior is plywood walls, but the floor is beautiful to dance on.
Yes.
It really is.
Yes, and it's very large. And so, again, that's April 25th. And is that a Thursday?
That is a Thursday. The event won't be in the dance studio. It will be up in one of our loft buildings. But the choreographers will be talking about their experience in creating works of dance art.
And so we have Kat Willis is bringing together Misha Scott, Leslie Johnson, and Sean Merriman Roberts. And then we have May 16th is Art in the Cosmos, and that is Stephen Lynch is producing that, and that is his art and science event that he does every year. So astronomy is the focus of it this year, and he has invited Joel R. Premack and Nancy Ellen Abrams, Chris Harrell, who is a local photographer, and John Weber, the director of the Institute for Arts and Sciences up here at the university. It's wonderful. May 16th. If you're going to talk about Cosmos, boy, Joel Premack is, and Nancy Abrams.
Yeah, I think it's a stellar lineup.
Stephen's
done a great job.
It's so amazing. And but the next one we're coming up to is, again, March 21st, and we'll be talking to Geoffrey Nelson. Actually, we should be talking to you right now, Geoffrey. Thanks for coming in. How you doing?
Well, thank you. It's nice to be here. I listen to you guys all the time, so it's fun to see where all the magic happens.
Thank you. I'm really excited to meet both of you, and I'm sorry it's taken me so long to get you up here, but better late than never. That's right. You've got this pretty interesting Erotic Lounge, Explorations in Sensuality show coming up March 21st. And it starts at 7, but people want to get there early because at 6 there's going to be you're calling it Fun and Naughty Shopping, and the Enter Through the Gift Shop.
Right. They have a very cool gift shop at the SCICA, and so we're encouraging people. We're going to be finding people that do maybe slightly erotic things that they sell, or massage oil and stuff like that, to come early and be able to set up and sell their stuff there.
So, Geoffrey, you were inspired to go into this aesthetic, this erotic aesthetic that I want to just describe a little bit to people. Kind of your inspiration is 1890s New Orleans, Storyville, you say? What is Storyville?
Well, Storyville was a semi-legal red light district that they had in New Orleans from the late 1800s up until 1918. And, there's a movie, there was a photographer in that area that used to photograph, I can't remember his name, and it was similar to like Toulouse-Lautrec, where he would go into the brothels and photograph. And so what I had been doing, my work has been nudes for the last 30 years. My personal work has been nudes. But I'd been going to
I'm with you, Geoffrey. When I painted nudes.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to paint, really.
I don't know. People have been doing it for 10,000 years, making art out of nudes. But so I had been doing that, and then I had been going to Burning Man for a long time, and I had started to see how women dressed out there. And I'd always been, if people know me, I've always done a lot of costume type stuff, especially since Burning Man. And it was sort of fun to see women dressing in this certain way at a place where they could dress however they wanted. That was one of the great joys about Burning Man, was that when you went there, you could wear anything you wanted, and it was fine, and the more creative, the better. So that's why it was sort of like you didn't even call them costumes, because you sort of actually felt more comfortable in it. So there was especially one person in my camp, and she would dress a certain way. And then I started seeing all these other women that I knew, and they were all in their 50s.
Oh, and men, too.
And men. But they tend not to dress like the prostitutes of Storyville. They dress maybe
my
like
friends
the pimp. Well, okay. I want to go to your camp.
I'll show you pictures.
I want to find your camp. So I decided that it was it harked back to that period of Storyville with thigh highs and
petticoats,
corsets,
lace petticoats, short, lace petticoats,
and top hats and that.
Corsets,
so
feathers.
I came back and I started the series, and they were sort of portraits. But they also have sort of an interior quality about them. They're the people that are in them, and mainly this one model, have sort of a self-reflective feel about it. That they're either sitting by a window looking out and that. But so it was an interesting series that I've been working on for a while.
Geoffrey Nelson, talking to us about his art and his inspiration. A little bit of late 1800s New Orleans. I wanted to describe, if you could describe for us, the aesthetic of what you're talking about. It's
well, it goes back to, I think there's a sense of eroticism that those that in the late 1800s had, and that's one reason maybe why steampunk is becoming so popular, because there's a sense of how women and also how men dressed was really sort of had a certain amount of creativity to it. In those days, for the women especially, when you see these photographs, that they were basically in brothels and that. But that now that women can dress again however they want, especially at a place like Burning Man, or even obviously for Halloween, you start seeing the revisitation of that, of the striped leggings, the high boots, the corsets, the bustles, and I thought it's great that now that bustles are coming back, and who would have thought that women would start wearing bustles again? But
Vivienne Westwood's had the bustle since the 80s. She's been carrying.
She?
Oh yeah,
yeah,
she's been keeping that alive.
Yeah,
for
well,
us,
you know,
that
the
spirit.
guy, like...
She's a punker, though. That's her thing.
Well,
right?
and it's like the Jean-Paul Gaultier show.
Exactly.
You know, when you go and see what the fashion that, you know, guys like Jean-Paul Gaultier was doing, and then see what people are wearing out in Burning Man and that. It's
right. So give people their choice, their freedom to express themselves, and interestingly enough, it happens to be a very sensual.
Yeah.
I like to think of all the velvets and it's very Jules Verne, turn of the century.
Yeah.
Is there some of that too, you think? I mean, it's already 2013, I guess, but it's still early in the new millennium, in the new. I kind of see that connection. I don't know why.
Yeah.
This mixture of science and technology coming together as it did then.
Also, in a way, sort of post-feminist in that you can dress how you want now.
Oh,
you know,
post-Madonna.
Yeah, post-Madonna. You know, and you're getting
Which
that.
upset a lot of feminists.
Yeah, right.
Right. They.
Yeah, but post-Madonna. And so I think that younger generation can dress however they want and not feel that it's being, you know.
And it's starting to be that way for men as well. Hallelujah, as it should be.
And what is fun is that this series is, the series that I've been photographing, is women in their 50s. So it isn't like they're all in their 20s or something. So that's sort of,
I wanted you to also touch to that too, because it is an older crowd. I mean, it's an all ages show out at Burning Man, obviously. But there is, like, I just did a ski clinic, and the median age was 45.
Yeah.
It was a women's ski clinic. It was like, I was skiing with 58-year-olds, 60-year-olds. I mean, women like racing down the mountain. You know, it's like I'm going to race. I'm going to wear whatever I want to do.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
it's wonderful.
Yeah. No, I agree. I do. I don't think it's limited by age. Although I think Margaret and I went to Berkeley at the same time, and so there was sort of a feminism of that time period.
Of course, yeah.
You know,
Burn
that
the bra.
has changed.
Thank God things are so much better than they were then. I'll tell you, being a female student in the 70s and 80s is a very different experience than it is now. Yeah.
And you would say more liberated, obviously.
More liberated and less sexual harassment from the professors and fellow students.
You had
I
an
hope.
old boys club in Berkeley, right? There were a lot of men that were.
Yeah.
You know, I remember taking those art classes.
There's mostly guys.
No names mentioned.
March 21st, folks, you get to meet Geoffrey Nelson, talk to him, see his work, see what he's brought together for us, called Erotic Lounge, Explorations in Sensuality. This will be at the Santa Cruz Institute of Contemporary Art. It is a part of the Tannery Arts Lecture Series that Margaret Niven has been bringing together, a gift from her heart. And she is both Geoffrey and Margaret are Tannery art artists, and we're really generating an amazing art culture in Santa Cruz.
It's amazing.
And the Tannery Arts Center is really one of the flowers of this movement. And
the SCICA, too, is just, I was so surprised because that Thursday, the Muse launch party was great, and the Friday was First Friday, and it was packed again. So it seems like the SCICA is becoming this great venue.
I know, and as summer progresses, as it gets warmer, it's just going to get better and better. I am so excited, and I'm so thankful. Please go to margaretniven.com to see her work, and you can see I wrote it down somewhere, Geoffrey Nelson photo.com. But if you want to hear more about the lecture series, where would you go, Margaret?
Well, we have a Facebook page, Tannery Arts Lecture Series, and we don't have a website for it. The best thing to do is to email me and get on our email list, and I am nivenart@gmail.com.
All right.
And also, we're going to encourage people to dress up for this
that would
Erotic
be, yeah,
Lounge.
let's do that.
So if they want to dress in their best, Storyville or their steampunk or whatever they want.
Whatever you think is sensual.
Yeah, so because we're going to try to light it nicely and give it some atmosphere.
Of course. And have some transparent curtains
gauzy
and gauzy
atmosphere.
Yeah, big mirrors,
the
wrought
belly
iron.
dancers and,
Imagine, folks, just come out and see it. March 21st, Erotic Lounge. Thank you so much, Margaret Niven, Geoffrey Nelson. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, Nada.